Hello and welcome to another video and presentation of on Business Week series from GJ Management Consultant. So we are here to present yet another problem and a solution, and then we'll see that what this problem is all about and what solutions we have. So let's just start with the problem. I think the problem is again with Mr. J. And what is the problem? Okay, so warehousing cost as a percentage of overall inventory is increasing, okay, while inventory value is decreasing, and this is a cause of concern for finance as challenges are there to store the fast moving inventory item and require additional warehousing cost. Oh, so seems to be very unique statement, unique problem statement because my warehousing cost as a percentage of overall inventory is increasing well the inventory value is increasing, which means that there is something not happening properly. I think the inventory constitutes a mix whereby my low valued inventory is on higher side. It seems to be on the high level understanding, but let's see that how Mr. G decodes this problem. So we'll just quickly move to the problem debrief. Oh, my understanding seems to be correct. The sea level inventory movement is very slow with aging of more than 90 days, and poor bin discipline is creating more troubles for picking of the item. Okay. Lack of designated C class zone in creating obstacle and delays in managing the inventory stored in the warehouse. C class item consisting 20% of my inventory value, creating stress on the working capital and impact on the liquidity ratio. High carrying cost of the storage, insurance, handling, lease cost, and the high cycle count. Obsolescence risk of 50% of C-level inventory compelling to take urgent action causing stress. So seems to be a real issues because if we look at our total warehousing cost, so warehousing cost as we so in our one of the India's series in India's 2 we specifically called out that warehousing cost are only absorbed to the inventory if that storage cost is absolutely necessary before the production, right? But if at all it is not related to the production, then it has to be expensed off. But in this case I'm assuming that this is the cost, it is absolutely associated with the making sure that we can manage the production, and this is largely loaded into my inventory. Then there's a challenge because what's happening that overhead cost is being loaded on the basis of the allocation ratio, and if at all it is happening that my C level inventory is occupying 20% of my total space, then it's a real challenge. So we'll just quickly look at those challenges in the more deep as we move into the next slide on the problem diagnostics. So let's just move to the next slide then. Okay, let's just have a look a bit deep into the problem debrief. So poor bin discipline challenging picking of the item. So this is company policy. What it is saying, this is company policy. C-level inventory is non-strategic that has an aging of more than 90 days with the low inventory value. There's a lack of bin discipline and bin IDs not carefully updated. So which means that there is a policy, but it is not being adhered properly. So which means that that C-level inventory is increasing, but the disposal or churning of that inventory is not happening on a regular basis, because of which my warehousing space is getting occupied by C-level of inventory. Negative impact on picking of the A and B class of the inventory because the space is being occupied by the C-level inventory. Also, it was reported that 3 accidents reported in last 3 months were due to inappropriate placing of these bin carrying the C item and regular delays in packing and shipping of the A and B class item. Seems to be a real challenge. Okay. Burden on working capital, obviously, because if my C level constitute 20% of the total inventory cost, then it is going to have the burden on my working capital because I'm spending huge warehousing cost just to store an item which is very low in the value, but it is having a substantial volume in my in the warehouse, is 20%, which is huge volume. Higher insurance cost due to 90% occupancy, higher provision of the net realizable when slow moving obsolescence. The thing is that we have to also be considerate of one thing, the impact of this lower value on my financials, because if we are not churning this lower value of item on the regular basis as per the policy, then it is value is getting dropped, and unnecessarily we have to report the lower of the cost or the NRV as per the Ind AS 2. Please refer to that Ind AS 2 in our separate series. Now what is happening that NRV is getting reduced and we are unnecessarily reporting that loss in our books. Another burden on the financials. Higher cycle count impacting the warehouse operation. System flagging C level inventory for the higher cycle count, since the inventory is the higher location variance, quantity variance, and aging variance. Obviously, negative impact on the speed, accuracy, and safety. Because see, the thing is that if my inventory, which is 20% of the volume, is being my warehousing occupied 20% of the volume of C kind of category of the inventory with very low value, it is unnecessarily occupying the space. The movement is haphazard, and because of this, the actual storage of the A and B class is not happening properly, and the movement whenever some orders come to remove that inventory from the warehouse, it is creating a challenges. And then lastly, obsolescence risk of 50% of C. This is again a challenge, which means that see that there are three things now. 20% of my low value item is occupying my by volume occupying my warehouse. Out of that 20% volume, 50% is already chance of obsolescence, which means that I'm carrying the value of 20%, out of which I know that 10% is going to be obsolete, which means that I'm storing 20% of I'm utilizing 20% of warehousing capacity for value which is two things. One is it is lower than the value because it is my C class inventory, and also the value is further getting lowered because I need to write off those inventory because of obsolescence. So problems are getting aggravated because there is no proper policy to manage that C class of item. So we'll quickly move to the next slide and see that what solution is being proposed by Mr. G to tackle this problem. Okay, so let's just quickly have a look at the solution being proposed by Mr. G. So Mr. G is saying here's the solution. Okay, what is that? Strengthen warehouse controls using digital system. Oh, great. So what he's simply saying that, see, at the end of the day, our inventories needs to be managed through a digitally enabled system through the automation and AI, so that we have a clear picture about the capacity which is being utilized by each inventory item type, and we are in control that which item is of which category, and we are ensuring that we have to ensure that movement of that low class item at a regular interval as per the policy of the company. Okay. Streamline consumption and liquidation. You absolutely, there has to be digital trigger. If an item of inventory which is C class has to be liquidated or disposed of or utilized within 90 days, then I think after 30 days there should be one alert that it is being not getting replenished, or it's not getting disposed of, or being issued for the specific purpose for which it was bought. So all those alerts and triggers should be there on a regular basis, so that there should be no storage or extra storage of those inventories. Enable the faster clearance of C inventory using technology. Establish the digital inventory visible to the classification. Absolutely right. And then optimize the layouts and space using the digital tools. So all these recommendations, high level recommendations, are definitely have a layer basis which we can finally look at the key inputs of each of these suggestions. So we'll quickly move to the next slide to look at the further details into this solution which is being provided by Mr. G. Okay, so let's just have a look at the detailed solution. So what Mr. G is saying that improved planning of the C class item with the manufacturing and marketing forecasts. Again, with the help of the AI, we need to have those forecasts. Dedicated C level zone with WMS warehouse management system and the ERP enforcement to avoid any mixing. Barcode RFID tagging to tracking the bins and location. Mobile warehouse management system and cycle count, and then accountability of the metrics of C level. So basically what he's saying that absolutely digitization. We have to digitize, and we have to introduce the AI enabled triggers to manage these controls within the inventory, so that we are clear what inventory item needs to be stored at till what time, and how we can optimize by making sure that C class inventory should utilize the minimum space in the overall warehouse. Streamline the consumption liquidation. Auto recommend the consumption first to move the WMS. Automated clearance and trigger based movement of the NRV and demand forecasting. Tech based cross selling of the signals. Enable the faster clearance of the C class inventory by using technology. Use ML, which is machine learning, again part of the artificial intelligence. So I think the the point here is that, and I think this is very imperative, that how artificial intelligence can enable to track the inventory and monitor the inventory and ensure that those inventories which are occupying a lot of space in our entire warehouse should be cleared. This is the policy of the company, and those triggers can be created with the clearly articulated rules which is being generated through my artificial intelligence. So AI is the key here in all these implementation of the solution. And then establish digital inventory visibly, absolutely critical. So to ensure the complete visibility of the C class inventory and reduction in the variances, and use a digital dashboards, train and warehousing staff to adopt the digital solutions, creating the success in the field. So this time Mr. G has absolutely loaded the solution with the artificial intelligence ingredients, technically enabled solutions, tech enabled solution. I think this is the need of an hour as well, because when we provide these kind of solution, it has its own beauty. It gives the confidence to the users, give the confidence to the organization that how they can manage a lot of their issues with a single solution that is being provided. And with this they can definitely have a way to manage their higher rising warehousing costs, maximum utilization, lowering the obsolescence value, lowering the write-off of the inventory because of the NRV and all those matters. So this is absolutely going to be a kind of a game changer for Mr. J if we implement this solution as proposed by Mr. G. Improved forecasting, procurement, again element of an AI, KPI monitoring, ERP, WMS, and so all these solutions are absolutely critical to ensure that all these changes, all these issues which is being faced by Mr. J, how can these be removed with the technology introduction? And that's specifically with the AI kind of technology, which can enable us to create all those triggers, notification, alerts in the system, so that an action can be taken at the speed of the light and can be taken to ensure that management is maintaining the healthy financial ratios, liquidity ratios, solvency ratios, and improve their working capital. So let's see that how this solution is being accepted by Mr. J. Okay, so let's see the reaction of Mr. J. He's happy shaking hand with Mr. G, and I think he's saying that he's clear on the solution and how this solution can help him to improve the efficiency in his warehouse. But again, as usual, Mr. G is saying that absolutely you're right, but the merit is to implement the solution which is being proposed by Mr. G, and get it implemented through consultants team of GJ Management Consultants. So let's just move to the final slide. This is the last slide, and Mr. J is relaxing, Mr. G is satisfied. So I think this is all we have in this presentation. I would request all my viewers and subscribers to please view this till the end. Do share this with all the relevant users who are actually struggling with these inventory related problems. This solution will definitely help them to evaluate their position, and they can definitely have some understanding that how these some of the problems can be resolved. You can always write back to us at our query section in the GJ Management Consultants site, and you can write back. You can call me at the number given below. We are ready to help. In the comment section, please give us the suggestions to make this session more informative for all of you, and help us with any problem if you are having, so that we can able to resolve that. So with this, thank you, goodbye, and see you again with the next problem and solution series. Bye bye.